Oi, what was that?
Oh, this is no. You can't hide from me. Bastard!
report. Systems requiring maintenance. 27. Active on-site personnel. 0.
You're back. Excellent work. The system reported that you ran the command as I asked. Thank you. Reliability is the greatest of virtues, I often say. You were expecting to waltz in there and learn everything that even our highest security-cleared scientists weren't allowed to know? I admire your optimism. I gather you've never encountered British bureaucracy before. In all sincerity, I am very grateful for your help. In return, I gave you all of the answers that I'm permitted to. I'm sorry if that hasn't sated your curiosity, but it is all I can do. Very well. I'll answer a question or two. You'll see it all for yourself soon enough, in any case. What is it you want to know? Now. Oberon. Oberon turned out to be very much a Pandora's box in reverse. Full of good things, and one very bad one. It's a meteorite, you see. Fell to Earth in Shakespeare's time, but remained buried until shortly after the war. Its shell was thick and yielded a mineral we call oberite, an astonishing material. It allowed us to make the most amazing leaps forward in electronics. I mean, just look at this place. The computers we built were generations ahead of the best machines of anywhere else. Robotics came next, and even some forays into synthetic intelligence. But, oh well, then we dug too deeply into Oberon in a very literal sense. And that was when we had to enact the quarantine protocols. We had no choice. While we were mining at the Oberon site, something was uncovered. Some sort of fungus, not of this world. It seemed benign, or at least not malignant, so we took a sample of it to the medical lab to run some tests. We soon discovered it produced intriguing cognitive advantages when inoculated in small doses. It was some months before we realized its negative effects. We might have continued to study it, developed remedial measures, but for the disaster at the Oberon site. A few days after that were chaos, until a full quarantine protocol was enacted. We drilled a little too deep at the Oberon site. The materials gathered from there were essential to our robotics development, so rapid extraction was of paramount importance. How could we have foreseen what would happen? We exposed Oberon's core, and with it, a massive release of energy, and much more of the biological matter inside was released. The protocol was enacted almost immediately after. Exposing the core also seems to be the cause of the interference field around the site. Soon the zone was completely shut off to the outside world. The escape plan. Very well. As all of this started with Oberon, I'm afraid that's also where we must finish it. You must get to Oberon itself, down beneath the power plant. Once there, use the mining equipment to extract a sample of the core. That's all you need to do. Extract a sample and bring it back to me. Then I shall get us both out of here. I'm offering you a way out. Isn't that what you want? Then that's the deal. No sample, no escape. The restoration of power to this place has allowed me to retrieve some fascinating data. It now appears inarguable that Oberon itself is the source of the interference field that shrouds the zone. And the best outcome for this area is that the quarantine and interference field remain in place. As long as the equilibrium of the quarantine zone is maintained, I believe it will keep this marvelous and terrible thing frozen indefinitely. So you must extract a sample, but leave Oberon otherwise untouched. Do that, and we can escape. Consider my offer. It is your only way out of here. One more thing. Tinker too much at the Oberon site, and you'll set events in motion that cannot be reversed. Be sure you are fully prepared before you go there.
What on earth happened at the dam? The monitors here registered a huge power surge from the data store bunker. That data was vital. I hope you didn't do something stupid. You did what? Garrow? Oh, I knew she wasn't to be trusted. And you went along with it? Destroyed all that information? Oh. Oh, but I see now. Just who are you working for? The Secret Service? Special branch? Lord, not the Americans, surely. Show some dignity, for heaven's sake. Or maybe you're a cat's paw for Garrow. Is that it? In which case, who is she working for? Ah, but wait. Covering her tracks, was she? And how am I supposed to believe that? I mean, in all honesty, why should I believe a word you say? Oh. But perhaps you took the data anyway. Perhaps. You have it on you right now. Understand me. I will kill you for it. It's worth far more to me than keeping you alive. Ah, damn it. Damn you for being right. I still need you for this plan to work. But don't let me down again. Do you hear me? Next time won't end well for you. And it pains me to admit that you haven't been entirely useless. All the towers are fully operational again. Thank you. I do hope you didn't have too much trouble with them. You did? golly. Well, I didn't hear anything. It must have been an old recording. The zone is just riddled with them, so hardly surprising to hear one pipe up as the tubes start warming up again. I must say I expected a little bit more gratitude. You do realize I'm trying to get us both out of here? You should save your accusations for those who deserve them, like the buffoons who caused this whole mess. I'm sure it was just an artifact in the system. That and no more. Pay it no mind. Now I think it's past time we put an end to this little holiday of ours, don't you? We need one last thing. Our ticket out of here. A piece of Oberon itself. My people on the outside can get me out of here, but I'll need a piece of Oberon for them. If you were to help me, I'm sure they'd let you tag along. I mean, you do want to get out, don't you? I really can't tell you. It's all rather hush-hush, loose lips and all that. But look, I'm a decently principled girl, aren't I? Got Sunday school prizes and all that. Help me with this, and you can leave with me. You have my word. You need to get to the Oberon site. Once the interchange is fully powered up, you should be able to regain access to it. They were mining something there. It's worth seeing if the old equipment will extract a core of it. Then, well, you see, then you need to burn it. I do. Whatever is there is causing the interference field. Destroying it is our best shot at stopping the interference. And then the door is open for us to be picked up and escape. In any case, it's best that what caused all this mess is finally dealt with, wouldn't you say? Now look, once you get there and destroy the thing, the balloon will properly go up and things are likely to get hot here. So, if you have any loose ends you'd like to tie up, I suggest you attend to those first.
Official's log, 28th of September, 57. I knew Dr. Holder was up to something. It's no secret he's been frustrated with the direction of our research, but this takes the biscuit. Last night, Edward let slip about a secret lab Holder has set up in Wyndham Village. Edward let slip about a secret lab Holder has set up in Wyndham Village. Under the church, apparently. Of all places. For a month, he's been stealing samples, smuggling out lab equipment, and all this progress his witness. Worst of all, Edward knew because he was planning to join him. Holder's got himself a little rogue scientist brigade. I managed to convince Edward to give me a key to the place. Once this fever is down, I'll march over and confront Holder myself.
Target spotted!
Back away, you cave. Go on. Off you go. Go. Come on, you lot. I'll find you, mate.
Loud here. They've had it away.
Bad one.
Bloody hell!
Dead body. No, it's one of ours.
You'll die in it. You'll die.
In 12 hours, just how long does it take to evacuate one facility? Word from Jack is that the military has locked down the site. Not a peep from Emma since... What are we calling it? Explosion? They aren't telling us anything. Perkins is muttering about the Lord of the Flies now, the bloody fool. I shall strike him if he comes near me with that nonsense.
Stay alert. Stay alive. Shouldn't those villagers doing it for us?
Citizens of Wyndham, remember that your village is one of the few remaining bastions of normality within the zone. Keep it that way.
Slowly now. Come into the light where I can see you. Wait. You're not one of the scientific staff. Who the blazes are you? I know every face on the project, and you're not one of them. How did you know I was down here? You found it in... You mean to say you were inside the interchange? Just how did you get in there? They sealed the place tight. You found one. Just found a keycard. I believe you. It's so ludicrous that I searched to no avail while you just find one. Too ludicrous to be untrue. The interchange. Open again after all this time. Astonishing. I thought it was sealed for good, and its contents forever out of reach. But look, do you realize what this means? If you have access to the interchange, then we might be able to stop this nightmare before it spreads beyond the wall. You must have seen it. In the interchange. That damned infestation. We first discovered the growth at the Oberon site. I was one of the team assigned to study it. You know, first we thought it was benign. Beneficial even, according to the early results. In our experiments, small doses of the growth in a purified form showed the most astonishing effect on cognitive capability. But it was not purified nearly enough, as it transpired. Its active agent was much more active than we realized. What it was doing to both our bodies and our minds all the while, it beggars imagination. We thought we held the future in a test tube. But all we had isolated was evil in its purest form. I need you to go back to the medical facility, and this time go deeper. All the way down to the quarantine level. Somewhere in there is a sealed cylinder. It's labeled Sample 1. Find it and bring it here to me. Do that, and I can promise answers. Answers and a way out of here. Here's my keycard. It will get you deeper into the medical section. It was the first sample of the growth that was extracted. We took it to the lab to test it. That was a few months before the disaster. It's a pure sample, and that's what makes it so important. Before you go, you should help yourself to a dose of my inoculant. There's one lying around here somewhere. If you ever encounter a thick area of growth, or are suffering from a potent strain of the infection, that stuff will ease the burden. It should give you a better chance of surviving infested areas. And with any luck, it will silence the voices in your head. Best of luck.
Let's not have any trouble. We'll start the foraging party again this week. It's a shame we can't do that again.
But do you have a good reason to leave the village?
Wait. 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 I know why you're doing this.
I'm sorry. I must go, Alan. Interference is too strong already.
Diane! Don't you dare! Open the bloody doors, damn you! Diane! You can't trap us in here to die! I swear, if you don't...
time is of the essence. With any luck, Sample 1 will still be hidden away in the medical facility. You found the sample? But this is wonderful. For the first time in years, there's hope. A true, viable hope. Do. I'm going to make it into a whip. This alien muck has vulnerabilities, but taking advantage of them is difficult. My plan is to contaminate this sample to render it toxic, and then reintroduce it to the main growth. Now I need to get to work on this sample. But I can see you're curious, and you've earned some answers, should you want them. Is there anything that you want to know? It's an official secret, for all the weight that carries now. Oberon is the code name for the meteorite they found buried here. It was uncovered just after the war, during the evacuation of new slate mine workings. That discovery was the reason they built this whole circus here. I dearly wish it had remained undisturbed. The rock itself contained remarkable minerals, instrumental in the creation of the atomic batteries, and all the other marvels you've no doubt already encountered. But they drilled too deep into Oberon. And, at its core, discovered organic matter. That was Sample 1. A team of biologists, myself included, were assigned to analyze it. But the Oberon investigative team drilled too deep. There was some sort of violent and highly energetic feedback that collapsed part of the plant and triggered the quarantine. That was in 1957. It is abominable. Plainly extraterrestrial, voracious and implacable. At first, the top brass was excited by the potential it showed. In small doses, it seemed to accelerate our ability to learn to a remarkable degree. Your mind expanded. As if you had a connection to lost knowledge that you had somehow forgotten and were simply rediscovering it. But then, some of us started to change. We barely had time to start coming to terms with it. The explosion at the Oberon site came just days later. The quarantine was declared, and they trapped us in the lab. They left us for dead. Our own colleagues. You mean, why am I still trapped in the medical section? We didn't know it at the time, but there was a breach towards the back of the lab. Thanks to my experimental inoculation, I was able to resist the infection, to keep my own personality and intellect intact. I escaped through the tunnels under the lab. The only place I could think of to hide was there. When it seemed there was more to this growth than the BARD top brass wanted to admit, some of my colleagues and I decided to set up a very unofficial lab. This is it. It was hard work carting all this gear undetected, but we managed it. The vicar agreed to let us use the crypt for storage years ago, before the disaster. We made a small donation. To the church, you understand. And he didn't ask any questions after that. Now, I need to get to work on turning this sample active but toxic. A biological time bomb, if you will. In the meantime, there's something else you may be able to help me with. In return, I can assure you a route out of here. That's the deal. Sometimes, at night, I go up to the church tower and listen to the sentries chatting down below. I've heard some chatter that suggests my old colleague, Dr. Garrow, came back into the zone. I hear that Garrow somehow escaped from the soldiers' prison. That was your doing, I presume. Please tell me where she is. I very much need to see her. It's vitally important. I never thought I'd get a chance to see her again. It's vital I see her about something before we can leave. Of course. I might have known. Thank you. I'll finish my work here, and then make my way to her.
Citizens of Wyndham, the woods are still off limits.
Not sure about you.
Citizens of Wyndham, acts of insubordination or disrespect against the soldiers protecting you here are in essence treasonous and will be treated as such. Please, don't. And the quarantine protocol is no longer responsible for your safety. If you approach any military areas in the area, you will be presumed to have hostile intent, and you will be fired upon. Remember,
Not sure I like the look of you.
Hello, is somebody in here? Good Lord, I can hardly believe it. Alan Holder. Alive and kicking. After all these years. If there's one thing I admired about you, it was your persistence. Are you just gonna stand there? What is it you want? That.
My apologies. I'm very sorry that you had to be here for that. I know what you must be thinking, but Garrow is not innocent in this. She doomed the whole project with her recklessness. And when the chickens came home to roost, she trapped us and saved her own neck. She left us to die as if we were an embarrassment. Witness to the horror created by her hubris. Somebody had to do this, and I'm the last one left. Garrow was a manipulator. If you try and use her, she'll end up using you. We don't need her. Believe me, We must turn our attention to what lies in front of us. To be back in this place is the last thing I was expecting. It's monumentous. It's a miracle. Now finally we can finish all this. The last step is simple. I have the sample now laced with my toxin. You'll need to find a way to spread it to the source of the growth, into Oberon itself. It must go in at the root to poison the whole organism. Using the poisoned sample is the only way we can be sure of killing Oberon. We have to be sure. Do you understand? We have to be certain. There was plenty of equipment set up to analyze and mine the Oberite from the meteorite shell. Some of that gear might still function and provide a way to place the toxin at the core. Excellent. Here, take this sample. Take the poisoned sample to the Oberon site. Restoring power to the interchange will gain you access to the Windscale plant and Oberon. But once you use the toxic sample, things will get hot out here quickly. We'll need to escape as soon as is humanly possible. If you have anything else to attend within the zone, I suggest you do that before then. Interchange is fully powered. You should be able to reach the Windscale plant and Oberon. Make sure to spread the poison into Oberon itself. Then we'll be free at last. You can see why I must keep myself hidden away down here. Yes, it's under control, but I'll never be entirely free of it. Thanks to this apparatus, I found a way to inoculate myself, halting the infection before it could fully establish itself. If my colleagues had shown more faith in my line of experimentations, well, we wouldn't be where and what we are now.
Oberon must die. Die must, Oberon. Oberon. If Oberon is dead, then the way out will open.
Integrity compromised.
Poison us all. You think you can escape with one of the other heathens? There is no escape from what you are. Without the voice, there is no escape from that small world inside your skull. Live your life alone in a fleshly prison then. To hear the voice is salvation. You are an ant before the deluge. You are offered a gift, and you spurned it. You will never be offered it again. If you will not be with the voice, you will only feed the soil. And that is all that awaits you.
You a threat? Go if you want to live.
You have succeeded. You took a risk. Now, Oberon is dying. And you have earned your reward. A way out. Go back to the beginning. Go back to where you awoke.
Lost his speed too.
You made it! I owe you every thanks. The country does. Damn it, the world does! The infernal whispering in my mind that has dogged me for 5 years, they're fading into silence! Blissful silence! Do you understand? The toxin is working. Soon the interference field will come down and people will begin to arrive from outside. There may be some awkward questions when that happens. People who haven't lived through what we have might not understand why we did what we did. Come on. We should leave before they arrive. Stay close. There's a secret route out here. With luck, these wretched blue eyes of ours will fade over time. Until then, we'll need to hide where no one can find us. Come on.
You helped Dr. Alan Holder in his plan to create a special toxin to deal with Oberon. It certainly seems to have worked. Now you may leave with Holder, although his plans only ever extended as far as killing Oberon. You listened to good advice and wise words, which is to say, my advice and my words. So many shoot first and ask questions afterwards. Not you, though. You demonstrated a great deal of curiosity. Curiosity is a defining human characteristic. Humans and cats. Oberon is dead, poisoned by your hand, and a potent toxin developed by Dr. Holder. The interference field should rapidly fade now, and perhaps the outside world will finally see what has happened here. So ends the quarantine.